Hi, this is Joe from Cloud Design Box. Did you know that you can set up grade weighting categories for your assignments in Microsoft Class Teams? This will provide your student with an overall percentage grade based on the different weightings and different assignments that you set. In this quick video, I'll show you where you can find the option to toggle grade weighting on and off. We'll also look at how to set it up, some of the things to consider, and finally we'll look at where to find that overall percentage grade for your student. If you'd like to see more content like this, then click subscribe below the video. Also, if you click the notification bell, it'll let you know when we release new content. So let's take a look. So first of all, how do we set up weighting categories for our assignments? What we need to do is navigate to the assignments area of our class team. Up in the top right, there is a settings icon. If we click here, now if you navigate to the bottom, you should be able to see weighted grading categories. If we switch this on, it allows us to build up our different categories. If we click add grading category, we can add them in here. So I'm going to add a category for homework, and every piece of homework I set will add up to 30% of the overall grade. And you can see here, if you are using weighting, all of the categories must add up to 100%, otherwise it will not work. So we're just going to have to add another. And we're going to have a couple of quizzes throughout the year, and that will contribute to 70% of the overall grade. So it's nice and easy to edit these. You can delete them, you can add more, you can just use these buttons here to fine tune the weighting. Once you're happy, just click save. And you can view them at a glance from here as well. So one thing that's important with weighting is that now any assignment that is set where you're going to be marking with points will have to belong to one of these categories. You can still set an assignment and it could have just general feedback in there and a student can turn it in. It could be part of just their ongoing work. But if it's not contributing to that final grade, you cannot use points anymore. So what do we mean by that? If we just scroll up to the top and go back to our assignments area, if we create a new assignment, and perhaps this is our first piece of homework, you can add your instructions, attach your resources as normal. But if you go to add points, so let's say this is out of 10, it must now have a grading category. So if you are setting an assignment that doesn't go towards the final grade, you just need to leave points blank. If it is part of a category, just add your points in and select the category from the list. This is a piece of homework, 10 points, and it will go towards all of the other homeworks and contribute to 30% of the overall grade. You can still use rubrics for your marking, so we can add a rubric on here if we wanted to. And again, if you've used rubrics, you know that these have weightings within them as well. So in this case, 50% to categories. Just makes the marking easier. That will influence the mark out of 10. And that will contribute to all of the other homeworks, which will then contribute to 30% of the overall grade. So once the student has completed the homework, I will just grade it as normal. And now if we go to the grades area, because we've just started to add grading categories, you'll see that any previous assignments set with points are not included in the student's overall grade. But even if we filter this, so there is a filter button at the top of grades, and just select all of our grading categories, you'll see that even though this was only weighted at 30% and the student got 10 out of 10, so full marks, the average grade will just reflect their average grade irrespective of the weightings. To look at data such as weighting or distribution, etc., we can click on the Insights area of Teams. In this case, we just want to look at assignments. So we're going to click the Assignments report card at the top. And you see it brings through lots of useful info, late submissions, average grades, how many assignments, and you can drill down further into this, different assignments across the class. Now below this you start to see the average grade for the class. So we've got the distribution there, got the trend over time, and now you can also view grading categories from here. The class has tended to do a little bit better on the quizzes, which is great because that is weighted at 70%. So you can see the overall grade is closer to 81 overall because the students are performing better on the higher weightings, which is fantastic. If you want to view individual students, you can use this box here. Let's just pick the first student on the list. So Kiana. Again, you can see how she performs against the class. If we scroll down, we can go into grading categories, and in this example, you can see in Kiana's case, she actually did better on her homework than she did on the quizzes. So because of that weighting, despite getting 80% on her homework, she actually came out with an overall grade of 75.4. So it'd be great to know what people's thoughts are on this. Were you aware of this option? Have you used it already? Is this the tool that you've been waiting for in order to make full use of assignments within class teams? Let us know in the comments below.